Okay, if you saw our last video, which was our winter TBR, you will know that we have decided to read and reread Malazan by Steven Erikson next year. And the first book is Gardens of the Moon. So we're going to take today's video opportunity to have Kevin rank the books in order as how he prefers them. This is his opinion.
That's it.
That's it. So that's what we're going to do.
And then we can revisit it after I reread it, and then she can make her.
Well, I was going to actually say that at the end of the video, but we'll put that here.
Communication.
All right. So here we are. Take it away.
So, the first book in the series, Gardens of the Moon, I would say is my least favorite in the series. That doesn't mean it's a bad book. Just means the other ones are better to me.
Oh boy, this is the one that's supposed to wrap me in.
Well, okay, when I read it, I had so many questions I wanted answered. You know what I mean? It set the hook for me.
Okay.
It made me curious about the world. What the hell is a warren? You know, who are the gods? What is that? You know, and then who's a bridge burner? What's that mean? You know, I had a bunch of questions.
Oh boy.
So it made me want to keep reading, which I feel like a book one should do.
Okay.
But overall, not top tier Malazan to me.
Okay.
So that'd be number 10.
All right, book 10 in the ranking.
Dead House Gates, the second book. It's kind of got a, I would say, in not to scare you, but a painful first half. But the second half, like, blew me away. Anyone that knows about the Chain of Dogs knows what I'm talking about there. When I finished this book, I bought the rest of the series. So I hold this one very high. I know not everyone does. I would say this would probably be third or fourth. I'll decide firmly later, but much higher. And then book 3 is Memories of Ice. Monumental events. A lot of people love this one just as much, if not more, than The Crippled God. I am not one of those. Even though, like, it's got amazing scenes in it. Got a lot of good themes with compassion and everything in there. I would say this is like middle, so 5th for me.
Okay.
Just put that there for now.
I hope you remember these rankings.
House of Chains, the 4th book. I like part 1 because who doesn't like Karsa Orlong? And, well, you probably would like him, but Karsa Orlong is great. And then the rest of the book, even though it's a continuation of the Dead House Gates 7 Cities storyline, when I read it, it didn't really click with me at the time. Looking back, I can see a lot more of how important it is and everything, so it might bump up in the reread. But as of now, I would actually say this is number 9.
So it needs to go on top of this one.
It can, yeah.
Okay.
So it's...
Now, can I add...
It does build foundation for later in the story, and it does it beautifully when you look back. But when you're reading it the first time, at least for me, it didn't really, like, click. What's up?
I was going to say, when you're describing these, you're saying parts. So they have like parts like...
So each one, except for The Crippled God, is basically 4 parts.
Okay. Because you said part 1, and I'm like, oh, is there like a part 2 House of Chains?
Well, actually, no. So in there, it actually say book 1.
Okay, so it's
book
books.
2, book 3, book 4.
So it's books within a book.
Yes, basically.
Okay. Just want to follow.
So, like, House of Chains, book 1 is strictly Karsa Orlong. It's the only time in the series he's linear.
Okay. All right. I was just confirming.
All right. Midnight Tides.
Which would be book 5 in the series?
Book 5.
Okay.
The first time you meet the Letheri Empire, and also you get to see the Tist Eater, this means nothing to you right now. This one really hit with me. I like the capitalist empire and how he approached that subject. I thought it was great. It's got my favorite duo in it. If anyone knows Tahol and Bug, you know about that. Great sense of humor there. The two sets of brothers, I thought that was amazingly handled. The finish is definitely pretty strong in this one for me. So I'll go ahead and put that as 4 and that is number 3 in my preferences.
Okay.
Bone Hunters.
It's a beast.
This is the beginning of convergence, where characters from around the world are starting to come together into the master plan of what's actually going on.
Okay.
And the Bone Hunters themselves are born in this book. It's probably got the greatest siege I've ever witnessed in any kind of story in it, which is the birth of the Bone Hunters, basically. The end is pretty epic, but I felt like the siege was better. And some good, you start to see like more of how the gods are manipulating things, especially certain gods. This, I would say, is actually my 6th on the first read.
Okay.
It's great, but it's not like... This is more like of huge events, action, and it does have building in it, but it doesn't get very deep to me. Unless I missed something, which is completely possible. And then we get to Reaper's Gale, which is book 7. I don't even know where to begin with this, except for, like, the brothers' arcs continue to be amazing. The Bone Hunters, there's certain scenes with them that just really worked with me. Karsa, Ikarium, I love that whole part, because you have this whole expectation of what's going to happen, and then it just veers right. And then you have a very interesting quest group with like Siltrus Ruin, Udinas, and a few others in it. And that has a pretty interesting conclusion in this one for me. I would say this is number 2.
Wait a minute. You've said in the past that that's your favorite one.
That was before I finished.
Okay. I thought that was even since.
It's tough.
It's tough, okay.
Toll of the Hounds.
Dogs.
I feel like this is a lot of people's, like, there's a lot of people that absolutely love this one. I can see that. The ending hit like a ton of bricks. I ain't gonna lie. It was there. It was just parts of it dragged on to me, and it felt too slow to where I felt like the end, as amazing as it was, didn't really give me what I wanted. So this would actually be number 8, right above House of Chains for me. And then we go to Dust of Dreams, book 9. All of these are really hard to decide, and this one. And this is a great setup for the Crippled God. On its own, not necessarily the greatest, but you know it's more of a lead-in to what's coming. So this one, I would say, is number 7, and that's not a slight at all, because like from Dust of Dreams up, it could have really been in any way to me. And then the Crippled God is, I didn't expect the ending. I couldn't have foreseen any of that, but that is probably the best book I've read. It's it's almost a tie between Reaper's Gale and Crippled God, but Crippled God does edge it because usually the end of a series there's some like hiccups. I didn't feel that at all to Crippled God.
You sure it's not your favorite because you're like, finally I'm done?
No, I felt complete when I finished it. Because a lot of the series has such a dark tone, and that one kind of, you still get dark stuff in it, but you start to see like the light, if that makes sense. So it kind of makes it all come together, and I found it beautiful, for lack of a better term. So that'd be my order after the first read. So it's going to take us a long time to read the series.
He says us, but he means me.
No, it's a long series.
You said it took you about a year.
It took me about a year, with it being like my personal focus series.
Right.
And then for us to read it while reading other stuff between, it's going to just extend that time more.
Right. But when we do wrap up, we will revisit your rankings,
and see how it changes.
Share my rankings. So.
And then I don't want anyone to get mad. That doesn't mean like if your book is like low on mine, I'm not dissing that book. It just didn't click with me as much as it did with you.
Right. So yeah, that's what I was going to say. Let us know where the books, if you've read the series, let us know how you would rank them. Like
I know Mike from Mike's book reviews finished Reaper's Gale, and he's like, I hated it, basically.
But not that he hated. It just didn't like.
He said it didn't click with him
what he wanted.
Right.
So.
To me, I thought it was amazing.
Well, it's your number two.
Yeah, I can respect what he's saying, but
yeah,
it's still like it shows you how varying people can be on this series.
Yes, we can all agree to disagree.
Right, I'm down with that.
Alrighty. So, anything else? You good?
Put your rankings below. Maybe if you have a guess about what her rankings might be from the female perspective, because I know that could change things with this series. Just let us know what you think. And let me know if you think my reread will change my standings. Because I think it could, looking back, with everything that happened.
Alright, there it be. Kevin's Malazan ranking. We'll see you on the other side.
See it.